What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be discussing the infamous Destiny 2 toaster, aka the Jotunn Exotic Fusion Rifle, and how this thing has gotten substantially, and I do mean substantially, better within Season 17, Season of the Haunted. And so, let's get started. Now, first things first, let's take a look at this particular exotic. It was added back with the Black Armory DLC. Some of my OGs watching remember that. Great weaponry there. And this thing has the intrinsic trait Charged Shot. Hold down the trigger to charge up a tracking shot that explodes and burns on impact. Then it actually has access to Shield Disorient. Energy matched shield explosion disorients nearby combatants. Essentially, it's a fusion rifle that shoots a fireball, and this fireball does a considerable amount of damage. Like, this is a 100 impact, like high impact frame, essentially fusion rifle. And then not only is it going to do a considerable amount of damage, it's going to have a little bit of an explosive radius, and it's going to leave a burning effect on the ground that will continue to damage enemies that walk through it for a few seconds. This thing has always been a part of the meta in some degree. It was actually really good in PvE at one point before it did get nerfed, but I'm sure you've been sniped around a corner with this thing in PvP. Like, it is not the funnest thing. It's the last thing you actually want to face down a hallway. You just hear a bing, and then you're like, what is that weird, ball coming at me? And then you're already dead. However, this season, it actually got access to a brand new exotic catalyst. So, as you can see right here, I got mine at the end of an Iron Banner game, and you can get yours at the end of kind of a normal activity, Vanguard Strikes, Crucible, Gambit for the 2 people who still play it. I'm just kidding. Anyways, once you do get access to this catalyst, you will have to get a bunch of kills with the Jotunn in order to essentially unlock the ability to equip this catalyst. So simply head anywhere with a super high density of enemies. I of course went to Shirochi within the Last Wish, and after slaying out, which is pretty darn easy to do with the Jotunn, honestly, like I said, does a ton of damage, huge area of effect. You're going to be killing like, 10 guys with a single shot a lot of the time. Pretty devastating weapon, actually. But once you do finally get enough kills, you will unlock this brand new catalyst. So, let's take a look at it. Now, as you can see, it actually gives this weapon 2 additional perks. The first one is Cornered, faster charge time or draw time when surrounded by combatants. So, as you can see from this back-to-back comparison, we have the original, essentially, fire rate, pretty darn slow. As I've said, I go amongst a bunch of enemies, you see cornered or surrounded in the bottom corner of your screen, and I'm shooting quite a bit faster. So especially with the Jotunn that, like I said, has 100 impact, but it also has an incredibly slow draw time, this perk is gonna matter. It comes up in PvP a little bit more than you think. If you're playing sixes, like you're on a flag with 2 guys, that's when you need your weapon to charge the fastest, is when you're outnumbered. But really in PvE, Cornered is very easy to activate. Like if you're doing Nightmare Containment or pretty much anything really, there's going to be a huge amount of red bar enemies. You get even remotely close to any of them, then you get this significant draw time, or I should say charge time increase. So right off the bat, already pretty good. But it's the second perk that really puts the Jotunn so far over the edge and kind of makes it really a must-have for this season, and that is the Incandescent Perk. Now, this says, defeating a target spreads Scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause Scorch in a larger radius. And of course, Scorch is a keyword in Solar 3.0. So that means the Jotunn with this exotic catalyst is unbelievably synergistic with almost every Solar 3.0 build out there. The Scorch stacks that you're applying with the Jotunn are, first of all, devastating. Like, you can see in the background gameplay the difference in how many enemies you can kill with a single Jotunn shot after you have this catalyst equipped is pretty intense, because that Scorch, remember how Scorch works is you're going to build up those stacks. If an enemy has Scorch applied, it is not only going to take damage over time, which of course can cause them, to die when they otherwise wouldn't. But when you build up enough Scorch stacks, then you cause Ignite. And Ignite is another keyword within Solar 3.0, and that causes enemies to explode and do an area of effect damage. So before, the Jotunn would hit, do an area of effect, leave a little bit of a burn on the ground. Now it's going to hit, area of effect, any enemies in that area of effect are now taking additional damage over time. It's still going to leave that burn effect on the ground for even more damage over time. Oh, and if any enemies get enough Scorch, they're going to have additional explosions. So it's basically also like adding something akin to chain reaction in a lot of different scenarios. So even if you are not running Solar 3.0, the addition of these 2 perks from the Catalyst makes the Jotunn significantly more powerful than it otherwise would. But it gets really, really crazy if you are running Solar 3.0, because now, just check out the type of things the Jotunn is now going to synergize with as long as it has this Catalyst. So looking at the fragments here, anything involving Scorch is going to be activated by the Jotunn. So Ember of Searing, giving you more melee energy for defeating Scorched targets. Ember of Singeing, giving you class ability energy when you scorch targets. And Ember of Ashes, applying more Scorch. But then, if you're applying so much Scorch, you can then dive into fragments involving Ignition. More area of effect for your Ignition explosions, all of that stuff. Really a lot of fragments actually apply to what the Jotunn is doing, but it's not just fragments. How about the Warlock getting the Rain of Fire exotic leg armor? This is going to let Fusion Rifle and Linear Fusion Rifle kills make you Radiant, aka giving you 25% more damage output for 10 to 15 seconds. So you can 100% just use Rain of Fire, use the Jotunn, get a kill, pretty darn easy thing to do with this thing now, especially with the Catalyst, and then every subsequent shot does 25% more damage. Just nuts. And also, that Scorch applies really, really well with the Soul Invictus aspect for the Titan, where if you defeat a scorched target, you get sunspots. So especially, dude, using the Jotunn with Catalyst on the Titan, every shot is just chaining off with all these ignitions and scorches, and then you're creating sunspots, causing further scorches and ignitions. Oh, and they can heal you when you stand in them. Yeah, this season with Solar 3.0, with this new Catalyst, Jotunn is bumping. If you got the Catalyst, 100% worth leveling it up, applying it to the Jotunn, trying it out. And if you haven't gotten the Catalyst, maybe it's time to grind some Vanguard strikes. Guys, that is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.